One talk as we get any day that we have the webinar. Board here on the top right. And if you want to talk to us, or if you have something to say in writing, click on that question box and send us a question. We're watching for those questions, and at the appropriate time during the webinar, we'll certainly address those. We want to hear from you. We're looking forward to hearing from you. We're doing these webinars to help all of our AEE officers throughout the United States with topics. If you're, don't worry, you can ask it anyway. We've got some really smart folks here online, and I'll guarantee you that we'll get you get your question. I'd like to move right along this morning with our agenda that you can see on the screen now, and we're going to move in and have a word from AEE. Bill Kent, over to you this morning.
Thanks, Bob. Good morning, everyone. So we have a quick presentation we're going to go through. We can get that brought up. Awesome. Can everybody see that?
Negative. Negative, Bill.
Negative?
Yeah, just share screen.
Got it now.
There we go.
There you go. Got it? All right. We'll just go into slideshow mode. We'd like to have some pictures to go along with the few words we're going to say.
Okay.
So, first thing is introduction. So, on the call today, Bill's here. Ruth, I'm not sure, Ruth, are you dialed in? Ruth may or may not be joining us. Michelle Whitlock is here. And then we want to introduce Sharon Hewson to everyone. Sharon joined us June 1st, is that correct?
Correct.
June 1st, and is working hand in hand with myself, and is available to assist in any way. She'll be running the webinars and coordinating these going forward, working with Bob. So we want to welcome Sharon. Those of you that will be at WEEC will meet Sharon there if you do not have the opportunity to meet her before, hercenter.org. So I just want to cover a few things today. You know, kind of what's new. We're doing, these are our chapter webinars for our chapter officers and chapter presidents to kind of share best practices, what's going on with chapters, and to do member webinars. We've been doing those monthly. We continue to have those, promote those to our members. You know, technical educational content. We have one next week with John Avina, and then Nandini will be doing one in August. We have these scheduled monthly throughout the remainder of the year. They're published and promoted on our website and some of our email marketing. And we're also will probably be doing some in other languages at different times, and maybe even more than one a month, just more content and value to our AEE members. You know, we have 3 conferences a year. We have a new member benefit that is, we actually publish AEE member, you can access those. So we have those for WEC for last year, all our shows last year. We had them for GlobalCon, and we've now published the conference proceedings for the West Coast Energy Management Congress, which was held last month in Seattle. So the conference proceedings for that event, which was a very good event, very successful in Seattle. Those conference proceedings are now available. And you know, ASHRAE is a society that publishes technical standards. They've been working on a commercial energy auditing standard for probably 5 years. It was just released. And one of the things within the standard is the definition of what is a qualified energy auditor. And one of the things is that an energy auditor can, or a qualified energy auditor is someone that aligns with the Department of Energy Better Buildings Workforce Guidelines. which both our CEM and CEA do. So essentially our CEM and CEA are qualified to do work under the new ASHRAE Commercial Building Energy Auditing Standard. So a lot of work went into that to ensure. I think you'll see more, cities and states begin to utilize the standard. So that should be something that's new, and that's very good, and we're excited about that. And so I just wanted to mention that. Next slide, Chair. Another thing I wanted to mention is that we do some hard copy marketing. We also do email marketing. We've got an internal database system that we send specific information really about your certification renewal or your AEE membership. But beyond that, we do a lot, and we've been doing, gosh, probably a couple of months ago, we expanded the capabilities of members to select their preferences. So in other words, what information do you want to receive from AEE? So on this screen, you'll notice how from AEE, from our e-marketing system, it's Campaign Monitor. At the bottom, you'll see something, it's come from AEE, and it gives you a choice to unsubscribe or to edit your preferences. And if you select Edit Your Preferences, on the right-hand side of this screen, you'll see these are areas now that you as an individual AEE member can go in and select, I want to receive or AEE events or Seawheel or the AEE bookstore. So for each of those, you can either subscribe or unsubscribe individually. So if you don't want to get any emails about books, or you don't want to get any emails about our events, or about just general member news. So you can unsubscribe for those, and at any time you can go. So this is something that we have not had in the past. We've not done general promotion and broadcast of this. We've just implemented it, and we've been testing, and it's actually working. So we hear many times that, I get a lot of emails from AEE, and I unsubscribe, or I don't look at them. So now you have the ability to select exactly the information on the topics that you want to receive from AEE. So instead of maybe getting one email a day, you may get one a week, and so you can custom tailor this for your needs. And so we'll be starting to kind of announce and promote this, but I want to just bring that to your attention so that you can share that with your chapters, that now you've got a way to control the information that you receive, the marketing emails you receive from AEE. And if you previously have unsubscribed, if you'll contact Michelle or Sharon, they can show you how to get resubscribed, and then how you can go in and select any of these topics that you'd like to have access to. Okay? So we have, we just finished the West Coast Energy Management Congress, very successful event. Our next event will be the WEEC, the World Energy Engineering Congress in Charlotte in October. We're excited about that. And then the 2019 dates will be in Boston next March, Santa Clara, California for the first time. I think I saw Marianne on, so we're excited to be out there in Santa Clara in the Bay Area. And then we'll be back in Washington, D.C. in September in 2019 for WEEC. I wanted to mention just a few things about WEEC. We're going to be in Charlotte this year. I think everyone knows that Duke Energy is our host. We're going to be in Charlotte. It's shaping up to be a great event. We've got a really strong opening with the diversity of speakers. We've got Lynn Good, the CEO of Duke Energy. We've got Felipe Calderon, he's former president of Mexico, and he's actually a global expert on climate change and the energy economy and the energy transformation. I kind of compare him to the Ford. He's their futurist to essentially stop making sedans, where they're headed with the EVs. And then we'll have Captain Scott Kelly, who's one of the hottest speakers on the circuit now, talking about all of his activities. But so one thing is that You know, the WEEC is Wednesday, Thursday, and half a day on Friday. But on Tuesday, we have, you know, some special events that really should pertain heavily to our chapters. We have our executive committee meeting, and then we also have the chapter leadership meeting. So the chapter leadership meeting is where we'll have the chance to talk about chapter issues. So essentially, you know, the issues we're talking about on these webinars, we'll talk about those as a large group in summary at the chapter leadership meeting, and then we'll have our regional awards presentation later in the afternoon on Tuesday. So Tuesday is a really good day to attend for chapter-related issues. And then I wanted to mention is that we did something last year for the first time at WEEC. You know, we've got lots of good events between and energy, and, you know, EPA has meetings, DOE has meetings. But last year we did for the first time a student luncheon. It was very well attended. We're going to do that again this year. So we'll have a student luncheon on Wednesday. We actually have a train and Ingersoll Rand are sponsoring that. We'll have some speakers. It's a chance for students to get together, to network from all over the world. So if you have student chapters that you're affiliated with, we certainly want you to make a note that they're invited to WEEC, and we got a dedicated event for them. And of course, we'll have Legends in Energy, our awards banquet, keynote luncheon, and lots of fun activities. So hopefully everyone will be at WEEC, but I wanted to specifically mention these chapter tailored events. Once again, all the chapters are online, so I would urge you to check your information on the AEE website, make sure it's up to date. We'll get your information updated on the AEE website. And Bob, I think that's probably all I have. Probably ran over my time a little bit, but thank everyone again. Hope everybody's having a great summer. Look forward to seeing you at WEEC. Once again, welcome Sharon. If you have anything that we can do for you, please don't hesitate to reach out to us.
Bill, that's great. We really appreciate that. Appreciate your good information. And WEEC, you know, I'd like to just add a little quick note there. If you can get there a little bit early, boys, you can learn an awful lot from those meetings going on Monday and Tuesday. So right now, Michelle, I've not been able to reach you through chat, but Cedric is needing a call-in number, direct call-in number. So I'm throwing a lifeline out to you. If you'll send me that number on chat, I have him online and we'll bring him up shortly, but please send me a call-in number. I'm unable to get it while I'm running the webinar here. Thank you very much.
Oh, yeah,
All right, let's move on the agenda, and we'll bring up Robert Arrow, who is the Regional Vice President for Region 4. So Robert, tell us what's going on over in Region 4 these days.
Good morning, everybody. Region 4 has been relatively quiet, no major issues, which is always good. We have been in some brief talks and conversations with Omaha, Nebraska, and Pueblo, Colorado for new chapters. Omaha will be the first one in Nebraska. Pueblo will be the second one in Colorado. Those are probably the two biggest items we have. One thing I would like to mention to everybody who is here, come in the next couple of president contacts you regarding activities of your chapter for the WEEC presentation, please respond. This is the chapter's opportunity to brag about what you've done. It's more than just numbers, but it's just what have you really done throughout the last year, and a chance to brag and get recognized for it. And Bob, I think that kind of sums up Region 4.
Okay. All right. Robert, we appreciate those kind words. And looking forward to seeing you at WEEC. It's Robert and I were regional vice presidents in different regions, of course, during the past couple of years. And so as you work within AEE, there's a lot of opportunities to do that, to make friends and to meet new people. And this is a good way to do that. Right now, we're working the Cedric online situation. Cedric, I'm not sure if you're there or not. We did receive the call-in number and PIN. Michelle, thank you very much for that. And I don't see him right now. Cedric is working to join us. So what we're going to do at this point in time.
I'm here, Bob.
Okay, Cedric is now online. Cedric Davis is the past president for the Huntsville chapter of AEE. And although we have talked about student chapters early on, we didn't have the webinar open to everyone, all United States. We have done that now, and I'm going to ask Cedric to join us and how to start one and to maintain one. What information that you have today, Cedric, go right ahead and share with us. And thank you for joining us.
Yes, sir. The answer to both of those questions, how to start one painfully, how to maintain one painfully, that's the answer to both questions. Now, here's the real detail. The first thing that I think is most important is you got to get involved with the university or the college that you want to start a chapter. And that means or universities, you gotta know. Your first choice is encourage them to be a member. Your second choice is to pay their first year's membership. We didn't have to do it here, but we did for some other things that we want to accomplish. You pay that membership and you get that person involved, and they give you an inroad to know a lot of things that happen within the university. Now, once you learn all this stuff, you have to involve yourself. You're not ready for an AEE chapter, but involve yourself in these various, at that particular university, specifically in these clubs. And then you got to support the events. After a while, you become a familiar face. And then you got to hopefully contact a faculty member or a university. One of the things that was very helpful to us was meeting those engineers who was a part of the physical plant at the university here at UAH. So those people are normally engineers, and in our case, they were also members of the AEE chapter, so that gave us some connectivity. And then you got to look for an opportunity or make yourself available to present to one of these clubs. If they allow you to present to the club, then the first thing you need to do is bring food. Students will always show up if the word is out that you're going to bring food. So they'll show up and they'll listen to you. And then at this particular opportunity, not only do you talk about something that's pertinent to whatever they ask, but you get an opportunity to advertise the Association of Energy Engineers and also talk to them in detail about what an AEE student chapter can do and how an AEE student chapter can be beneficial to them. There are a lot of things on the AEE website, things like scholarships, and then we talk about how we have the opportunity to connect them for networking opportunities with all the various people and various companies for internships and things like that. So this is your opportunity to tell them about these particular things. Now come the hard part. Learn the university policies for clubs, because even though it's going to consider it as one of their clubs, so you got to go learn their policy. Once you learn their policies, you got to work with them, and it would be good if you could find a recent former student, hopefully an AEE member that will help you through that, because that's what happened to us, and we were able to water easier there. One of the things you want to make sure that you tell the students when you talk to them is that the AEE local chapter is going to pay for the student chapter membership. That normally get people's attention. And you can ask them for $15, but they're not going to do it. And if you want to have a student chapter, then you just got to go out and pay that $15. You want to now give the university official, and you discuss the application is from the university, and you work through that, and you learn all the things that you got to do. And I know it appears to be a headache, but the paperwork is rough, and you just got to stay the course there and work all this out and get it done. So you work with the university, what they want done, and as you're working that, you began to start bringing this thing to something that will finally become, you can find 3 or 4 good students who are interested. And these good students who are interested will more than likely be the first chapter officers for the, see if you can talk to them to do that, then you move forward. And the parent chapter may have to put up just a little money so that they will have some funding they'll need to do. So you go back and forth with the university officials, and finally you get all of their requirements down and you meet their requirements. And now you begin to put together the things that meet all the requirements of the AEE National. So as you begin to do, you got to take the person who wants to be the lead for the chapter, strive to find a faculty advisor, and hopefully that will be easy. And in our case, we found a faculty advisor who was willingly a member of the AEE local chapter. So that made everything work well. So you find a faculty advisor, and then when all of this is done, you have 3 or 4 students in place, you have a faculty advisor, you know all the things that you need to do to meet the requirements of the university, and also you know what you need to do to meet the requirements for filing the application to AEE. Now, I recommend that you have what we call a sign-up meeting. At the sign-up meeting, the first thing I request, you bring good food. Now, here's what I call good food. Normally, meeting consists of pizza and soda. Well, at the sign-up meeting, we had steak out, so we had steak sandwiches and things like that. A little different food that you can bring in, so they come in to do that. So at this particular meeting, the person who was going to act as the first president for the student chapter, they put a spreadsheet together, and then everybody that would, they got them to sign up at this particular meeting. And mind you, we had spent about a year working back and forth at this particular time. It didn't happen overnight. So they signed all of these people up, and when the night was over, we had 16 names signed to go forth as a student chapter. After we got those 16 names, then we finished the format to send it in to the AEE National. We sent all that format in, all of those things. Our local chapter treasurer sent the funding in to pay for those people, and then finally we had a student chapter. Now, here's the problem above everything: maintenance. One of the greatest problems that we have faced is maintaining that student chapter. It goes well through the year, but Little did I know about how important a middle of the spring meeting is to make sure that you get your offices aligned for the upcoming year. And we strove to do that. And right now we are on board to meet with our student chapter. This is how we plan to get it back in place. But with all the things that we did to get a student chapter, this was tough. But then the maintaining of the student chapter is even tougher. And if I learned anything, I would gladly share it. But I don't know if I'm that intelligent about working to solidify what we have done and keep this chapter active. So the last thing that I did that has been very, very important to me is I have spent time on the phone with Connie, talking back and forth to her. She is a great source and a great of information, and also rounding out. So we appreciate Connie for that. And that's about all I know about student chapters. It's a tough job. It's well worth it. And stay the course. And feel free to find my information and call me personally, send me an email if you want some specific information about how we went about doing this and accomplishing that. Got it, Bob? Hello?
It works better when I turn my mic on.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. Cedric, it sounds like it definitely takes some concentrated effort to get a student chapter off and rolling, and to keep it moving. It also sounds like there's some mighty good rewards to be had for that effort. I know when I was a Region 2 Vice President, I had a young man who was a president of a student chapter up in the District of Columbia area, and was able to get him to the lunch there and to the closing ceremonies. And he was just in awe, if I might say so, Bill Kent, with all of the people there and the program and everything that was involved. It definitely made a very important impression on him. As a matter of fact, he happened to sit at the table with the some of the international students, and he actually got invited to go overseas to attend a meeting. I'm not sure if it's not an opportunity. The students are our future. They're the folks that will take over as we move on. So I wanted to go ahead.
One last thing. One last thing is our chapter has made it a point to send a minimum of the president and the vice president to the WEEC in that year that they are in those roles in the student chapter, and that was super effective.
Very important also, because if you're there, you can see all of what's going on and almost, be amazed or in awe at all of the happenings there. I'm looking to see if there are any questions from the audience at this point in time. Cedric, you obviously have done an excellent job, as always, because I don't see any questions. Let me ask Robert Arrow, who is a Regional Vice President for Region 4, if he has any specific questions for Cedric that he would think of related to student chapters. Robert, have you got any specific questions there that you would like to ask?
I do not. Cedric, you did a great job and brought a lot of good points to light on how to get one set up and continuing to maintain. Very informative to me. So, but no specific questions that I can think of offhand.
Okay, all right. One of the things that I'm going to try here that I haven't done in the past is I can see a list of those who are attend Lauderdale. I see that you are in attendance. What I'd like to do, and Marianne is not open your microphone, Marianne, and see if there's anything that you would like to share with us regarding Seawell. I'm sorry to put you on the spot, but I thought I'd give you that opportunity, Marianne. Your mic is now open. If you'd like to join us. Go ahead, Marianne.
Yes, thank you very much. And that's all right. Off the top of my head here.
Hey, Lori, I'm here as well if you want me to jump in, Marianne.
Oh, Lori, go ahead. I didn't have any remarks really in my mind here, so if you'd like to, Lori Wiegand-Jackson and I are co-chairs for the Council on Women, and so Lori, if you have a few comments, please go ahead.
Thank you. So for those of you that aren't familiar with the Council for Women in Energy and Environmental Leadership, we are really focused on getting more women into the organization of AE. We are a division of the Association of Energy Engineers and have been active for many years. We do have a board of directors related to this division, Seawheel, and as Marianne mentioned, she and I are co-chairs of that board. And so there are two things that I wanted to focus on. One is chapter liaisons, which are liaisons. So every chapter, we're asking that you identify a woman either that's already on your board or is a member of your local chapter to be the liaison between the local chapter and scholarships, mentoring programs, things that would help women to feel engaged, to be able to network, and to keep them in it from an industry standpoint and from an organizational standpoint is a challenge. So taking this extra step and engaging women is important for us in our organization as we continue to grow. And so the chapter liaison will be that interface between Seawheel and the chapter. If you haven't already established one, I ask that you please reach out to myself. My email is in the distribution list on the calendar invite, Lori Wiegand-Jackson, and just let me know that you're interested in connecting with Deb Lenny. She's the person. The second thing is just to encourage the women in your local chapters to become Seawheel members. Just like any other division within AEE, it's like a subcategory. So when they become AEE members, they can then check off the box to be a Seawheel member, and it's a small additional charge for their annual membership in Seawheel. And then the third thing is that we do have a mentoring program. So if there are any women of any age, young or not, in your organizations, that just let them know that AE does have a mentoring program, and that they could find out more information by going to the Seawheel website. Our website is www.cweel.org. And I think that's it for me. Just wanted to highlight those. We do have events. We have an event coming up actually 2 events coming up in October at our national conference. We have the breakfast meeting, which we hold in every AE event, EMC, GlobalCon, and WEC. As the presidents, or if any of your leaders are coming from your chapters, definitely encourage them to participate in the Seawheel events. And the Seawheel reception is a great networking opportunity. And again, these are really important for men to support this effort, because really you're the ones that make big impact on many self. What I've AE that really stepped up and mentored me. So please I encourage you to participate, engage, and reach out to women in your local chapters and make them aware of of CWheel and the opportunities for them. And that's it for me. Mary Ann, do you have anything you'd want to add?
No, thank you very much. I was just going to tag on that we do like to encourage everyone to be a member of CWheel. A lot of the funds that we raise through membership go to scholarships. So if you're so inclined to join CWheel, please do. We have a newsletter that's now being produced 4 times a year, and there's quite a bit of good information that we've been able to share. So thank you. Thank you, Bob.
Absolutely. To both Mary Ann and to Lori, thank you both for jumping in there and giving us some great information on CWheel. And as you attend WEC this year, do not forget and do not miss the CWheel breakfast. I've been able to attend that personally for the last several years, and they've got an excellent speaker this year, and I'm looking forward to attending yet again. All right, as we continue on, I'm going to pull some polls up here. I'm going to ask you guys to, if you would, to go ahead and answer the polls. I always like to see which regions are represented, and the poll is now open for which region that you're with. If you would, please take a moment and indicate which region that you're with, and let us know that by checking the appropriate region there. Right now, it looks like we're getting some input on that, and we've got. It looks like we're pretty heavy in right now, so we'll leave that poll open just another few seconds, and I'll go ahead and close it here now. And if I get the right button pushed, be able to share that with that right there. Right now, you should be able to see the results. We've got representation in region 4 and in region 5. So that's the yes. The next easy one I've used on this, and that is we've got some the only 3 questions: yes, no, or maybe. So if you would go ahead and work on that poll a little bit, and let's see how that one works out. Looking forward to the seeing the numbers come up. Got about 2/3 of the people have voted. It looks like that's about how many voted last time. And I'm going to go ahead and close that poll now and share the results. It looks like half of the people are yes or maybe, and the other half are no right now. So those in the no side, schedule allows that. I think you'll be well served to participate there. All right, we're going to I'm going to move on off of the polls to the additional topics area. This is the place in the agenda where if there are any additional topics that anyone has that they'd like to talk about, now would be a good time for you to have put that into your chat box, and let me see those. I don't see any there at this point, and I don't see any in the question box. So, having seen no additional topics, this is where the point in the agenda where you can talk or ask about anything that is on your mind. So these webinars we run once a month, the 3rd Thursday of every month, and we appreciate those of you who've taken time to join us today. We appreciate those at AEE who have joined us. And I always like to go around the horn as we get ready to close and see if you'd like to have. Bill, if you're still with us, would Bill Kent, do you have any final comments that you would like to add today?
This is Sharon. Bill's not with us right now. He's on another call.
Okay, Sharon, anything that you were looking forward to working with you as we move forward here on these webinars on a monthly basis? Anything you'd like to share with us today?
No, not really. I'm still new to all this, so I'm learning. Every one of these is a learning process for me. So it's good to be here, and I look forward to working with all of you too.
Okay, thank you, Sharon. I've been doing them since January, and everyone is different for me too. So welcome aboard. Michelle, are you still with us?
I am here.
All right. Any closing comments that you would like to have? Michelle has been my right arm lady and has solved many of problems, as you heard today, helping get Cedric on board and other things of that nature. And I really appreciate you, Michelle, and thank you for all the hard work that you have done since January working with me.
You are welcome. I don't have any other comments. Just like Bill mentioned earlier, if anyone needs help with their email preferences, they can email myself or Sharon, and we can help them with that.
All right. Thank you very much, Michelle. I appreciate it. Robert, going to swing over to you, Mr. Arrow. Any closing comments that you might have today?
I do have one. I would like to thank Region 4 very much for such a good representation on the webinar today. And just want to say thank you very much, Region 4.
All right. Region 4 was stellar today in their representation. I did note that. Good point, Robert. Cedric, if you're still online, do you have any closing comments or anything that you'd like to add?
Yes, I'm here representing Region 2, so you do have one person, and I'm thankful to have that privilege. And then the other thing is, yes, I will be attending, if nothing happens, the WEEC. And lastly, to Seawell, I will be challenging everybody with 10 spots at the Seawell breakfast. So
thank you, Cedric. Thank you very much. I do appreciate that, and thank you especially for your great presentation today on student chapters. I believe that's everyone. We've gone around the horn. We'll have another one of these in August, the fourth Thursday in August. So I look forward to each of your smiling faces, although I can't quite see them. So join us again, and we look forward to having you. Thank you very much for your time today. Now to everyone. Thank you very much. Goodbye.